We'll open the floor for the delegates. Yes, sir.
Yeah, just one quick point on what Asha said. Where the government could play a role, say if they wanted to promote homestays and make it a huge employment thing. So two things come to mind. One is that they could create an infrastructure for marketing. So if you wanted to put your stuff, just like you have eBay, right? You could create something for on the internet for saying, okay, there are these 60,000 homestays all over India and they're rated and you can pick one and blah, blah, blah. So that is one thing that they could do. The second thing is on the MNREGA thing. One of the problems is that the assets which are being created, a lot of them are not durable, besides the leakage. But if, say, some of that labor was used to actually construct these toilets or upgrade things for the homestays, that could be another thing. Now that requires training and so on and so forth, and there's not enough time to get into the demerits of MNREG and the way it's structured. But those are the kind of things, because a lot of people focus on MNREGA on the leakage aspect, but I think more important and equally important is what kind of assets are we creating with that labor.
Right. So the theme is MDGs, whose mandate, and the 8 goals are up there for the uninitiated. But yes.
So I just had a quick question. If the decision has been made to put the deadline date back for 10 years, with the benefit of the time that's elapsed, are any of the goals being rewritten as well or redefined? My concern is particularly with goal number 2, which at the end of the day, I think has actually led the Indian government astray in terms of the fact that the Right to Education Act nowhere talks about the quality of education a child gets. It only talks about getting them into school. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's the wording as well of Millennium Development Goal number 2. Yeah. So has the opportunity been taken to actually redefine the goal or to shift the goal slightly?
I don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't think there's any thinking in that direction. Gul was here from the UNDP. Gul is Gul here with us? No, but I don't think there's anything which has been done to kind of.
But maybe it's something that we could do through the.
Praveen, do you want to share some thoughts on that?
Yeah, there are some discussions in the UN. One is, of course, everybody knows that the targets is not going to be completed by 2015. But there are two wave of thoughts. One is that, continuing with the same objectives till 2025 or extending it for another 15 years. And the other, wave of thought is looking at, dismantling the objectives and the targets and relooking at it. But there's nothing concrete as yet. There are working groups in the UN being set up to look at this particular aspect.
Thank you. Thank you, Praveen. Kaizad?
I think you could make an argument that many of the world's current woes have been caused and created by some of the world's most educated people, and I put education in quotes. What is the value system, I guess, that we are teaching them through that education? I think that's vitally important, at least from my perspective, having educated students in the US for over 20 years. Just getting them into the classroom doesn't ensure anything, actually. You can teach somebody to be a good Nazi person. You can educate them to be a good Nazi, but that's not the kind of education that we want. You can educate people to misread religious texts and oppress people. You can teach people to manipulate numbers and cause economies to crash. So I think the UN really, if it's going to redefine goals, really needs to start talking about a value system that we want children to have access to through the educational system.
Yeah.
Right, thank you, Kaizad. So we'll now open the floor and we'll bring in Praveen. Praveen, do you want to share your thoughts on the MDGs, whose mandate it is, addressing the MDGs?
Okay. I've just structured my thoughts in 3 sections. So one is just to give you an current scenario from the India perspective. The second is what have been some of the challenges, in addressing the MDGs. and third is bringing in some examples or best practices to move forward. So to begin with, if you look at the current trend of the MDG targets, the India targets. I won't go into the global target because I assume that all of us know the 8 MDGs and we are at least fairly the overall targets. But India targets, if you look at the poverty, the first goal, we set out to reduce poverty by half, which we said will go up to 16%. So where are we today? 35%. That is around 450 million people living below poverty line. Yeah, there is a huge pressure from the government to keep it as low as 26, but this 35% figure is from World Bank and so on. So it's an international figure again, but the government is still keeping it as low as 26, and there's a huge debate with the Tendolkar committee recommendations and whatnot. So we are still debating on that issue of 32 rupees per day, which is crazy. As Jerry mentioned earlier in the earlier panel, the planning commission guys have no heads basically. And they are sitting there. So that's where we are. If you look at the second goal, which is education for all, even though we have achieved 85 to 90% of enrollment, the challenge again is, are they retained for the entire primary schooling period or 1 or 2 years? And we know that there is a huge dropout ratio, and the child labor statistics in our country is huge. The government puts it at around 8 million, but civil society sector says it's much higher, which is indeed the case. If you look at 3, gender, where are we today? How many women representatives in the parliament? Less than 8%. And in the panchayat system, it is 33%. Now there are talks to raise it to 50%, but this didn't happen because of the MDGs. Mind you, this happened because of the 1993 73rd panchayat amendments. And where are we today? Yes, 33% reservation is there for women, but who actually runs the panchayat, we all know. 2 weeks back, I was in Chhattisgarh and I was talking to one of the panchayat leaders, and it happened to be a woman. So I was talking to her. What's how many people receive social security benefits in your panchayat? She said, I don't know. I asked her, do you have gram sabhas every year? How many times is it held? She said, I don't know. I asked her, what's the budget of your panchayat? She said, I don't know. I said, who the hell knows it? She said, my husband. And this is just not one panchayat. This is the situation all over the country. So what are we talking about?